Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
Office Bloke House.
Together we are all three of the Office Blokes.
Yeah.
It's true. Back in black. We're colourful today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't adjust your sets.
It's just as
Not very adventurous, are we?
It's a Friday afternoon and we're all really excited about the weekend, so we all just decided to dress like this. Yeah, there you go. Right then, the scariest face-changing knockouts seen in MMA.
Boom. There's some proper blows that go to the knee to the head and the foot and all that.
We've seen some of the knees, elbows.
Yeah.
They're absolutely brutal, aren't they? They really
Can
are.
you use your head in MMA? Can you nut someone?
No,
I think so.
not in,
I've not seen one anyway.
I don't think you can in. You could in the original UFC.
Right.
Like there was literally no rules.
Really?
Like, eye gouging was allowed in the first few UFCs.
How
Yes.
did you do that?
Yeah, that was like UFC 1 to, just a few of them, and then they had to start regulating. But I think that was like headbutts were allowed, eye gouging.
Yeah.
I don't know. I presume bites were if there was no rules.
Biting.
We need to try and find that. We won't be able to react to it for like early UFC fights. It'd
that'd
be crazy.
Mess that.
But yeah, I don't think headbutts, I'm fairly certain, are not allowed.
Right.
It's a bit too dangerous.
There's probably
yeah.
probably a Russian league somewhere that allows it.
Yeah,
It's probably one where they
no
just headbutt each other, isn't it?
Yeah, headbutting championships.
Let's do it. The scariest face-changing knockouts seen in MMA.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Fight Focus. And for today's video, we will be covering the scariest face-changing knockouts ever seen in MMA.
Oh, it's a split his lip,
Also, if you
isn't
enjoy
it?
this video, please make sure to drop a
Did you see that?
Yeah.
It was like split all the way up to his nose from there.
like, subscribe, and comment what video you want to see next. Let's get to it. Obviously, when you're getting punched by another person or have Edson Barbosa kick your head off, it's going to cause your face to look like the UFO Joe Rogan is trying to find. With that much speed and power, it is borderline impossible to eat a punch and still have your face remain to look like Jocko Willink. Everyone that has gotten caught with the beautiful strike in slow-mo has had this happen, but there are a few notable ones where the photographer caught the photo at the right time. For this video, we've compiled the list of instances where MMA fighters got smacked so hard to where their face looked like a steamrolled action figure. Number 12, Frankie Edgar. Man, this one had Frankie looking like Frankenstein. This crazy matchup came at UFC 268 when Frankie Edgar...
You see how different his face looks? Yeah. Like when you actually see his normal face.
This crazy matchup came at UFC...
That's him normally. And what we just saw was a mutant.
Like Lee Evans.
268 when Frankie Edgar faced off against Marlon Vera. After the fight would break up at the end of the second round, Frankie would get up in Vera's face, which the Ecuadorian would make him regret in the next round. As the second round started, both fighters began to exchange again, but with a little over a minute left, Vera landed a crazy front kick that had Frankie age 80 years in just 0.6 seconds. Though this strike didn't have Frankie completely out, the ref decided he had seen enough and stopped the fight after he would get pounced on. Number 11, Tony Ferguson. Tony and Frankie were twins after this crazy knockout occurred, courtesy of Michael Chandler. This highly anticipated fight ended in a way no one thought it could. Chandler was the first person to ever completely knock out the MMA legend, and he did it in Anderson Silva fashion. This insane finish came in the second round in the first 15 seconds. Both fighters circled around the cage, but the first real strike that was thrown was the front kick. Like literally, no one swung a punch or a kick. Chandler's kick was the only strike in that whole round that actually connected.
It's like Voldemort.
And was thrown. It was hard to watch Tony completely faceplant like he did, especially since Chandler successfully made him look like Abraham Lincoln. Number 10, Joe...
I think he looked like one of those, the shrunken heads. Like the voodoo.
Sort of gurning.
Not great, doesn't he?
King
Like
Gurner.
gurning, yeah.
made him look like Abraham Lincoln. Number 10, Jose Aldo. What Conor did to Aldo was totally insane, but his face when he got knocked out was even more insane.
Conor relaxed and smiling.
A little less than 7 years ago, Conor put Jose Aldo away in 13 seconds to claim the featherweight title. This was one of the craziest outcomes of a fight considering the dominant image the Brazilian had on the division at that time. What's even crazier is how fast that left cross came and sideswiped Jose's face, causing him to drop and thus prompt the end of the bout. Looking back at the photos and videos, Conor landed a picture-perfect strike that Jose had left open for him. The effect it had was no joke. Number 9, Ronda Rousey.
Do you think Conor McGregor's coming back?
Not sure. I'm not well up on it, to be honest.
Coming back to, well,
Used to
big
work
time
here.
fighting. Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be the force he used to be.
He
I think
missed
he's lost a
out
few,
on
hasn't
the.
he?
He just missed out on the testing pool, didn't he, to be able to fight in 2023.
Ah, right.
He was
okay.
supposed to submit samples or something so he could be tested for drugs, and he missed it. So he can't fight in 2023.
I think too many people have caught him up. I think the sport's moved forward and he's kind of missed it a little bit.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
you're
I
right.
think.
Yeah.
A bit too much partying in the meantime,
Yeah,
on
exactly.
his yacht and
Yeah.
stuff.
I think he's been enjoying his money, hasn't he?
Still a hard
wouldn't
bastard,
you?
but I think
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Rowdy Ronda Rousey got a taste of her own medicine with her tough gal personnel. The show she put on backfired pretty hard.
Beautiful. Beautiful. She's hurt. Holly's in trouble. She's hurt. Holly looking to finish. He's out. Holly Holm is the new UFC bantamweight champion.
Holly Holm was single-handedly responsible for one of the biggest UFC upsets ever seen in the sport. What was crazy was how Ronda predicted what Holly would do and still failed to prevent it. For all the head movement Edmund would try to help Ronda train with, it still wasn't enough to stop her from looking like the gingerbread man. Even Amanda Nunes had a fun time with making Ronda look like a fish out of water by putting her away by way of TKO. Number 8, Rashad Evans. Onto one of the scarier knockout faces seen in the sport of MMA.
That one he took in the body. Oh, another shot. He's getting teed off on. He's done it. He's out. It's all over.
Rashad was one scary dude in that cage, but Lyoto would have disassembled that fear by making his opponent completely out of consciousness in their matchup at UFC 98. This terrifying KO came in round 2 and did not disappoint one bit. It all started with Lyoto dropping Rashad and had him get back up and wobbled up against the cage. The flurry the Brazilian put on caught Rashad on the face and had him out for the count. Rashad, looking like a Walking Dead extra, was out cold on the mat as Lyoto would walk away the winner. 7. Alan Patrick. This fast knockout was super scary, but so were the follow-up shots on the down fighter.
Not quite as keen to engage in these.
Oh, yes.
When Michael Johnson met Alan Patrick in the cage, he showed him just how fast his hands were. The super fast finish came in the second round when Michael landed an insane combo that had Patrick's chin land on his own shoulder. After this would land, it had Patrick crumple to the ground dazed, till Michael would land a few more punches till his opponent would remain out. The photos of this crazy punch landing was insane to see since it landed so clean on Alan's face. Number 6, John.
You know what the UFC are missing out on a little bit is super high speed cameras, and then they can have clips of the knockouts in super slow motion. You know, so it's like you actually see your face morph and wobble all over the place and stuff.
They may have it, just maybe not seeing him on these videos.
Yeah, could do.
It'd be that'd be the ultimate replay, wouldn't it, after a knockout?
Just a bit.
Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker has simply done it all. The worm, the ragdoll, and the inflatable man.
Moving like this, you got to dodge the crazy punch.
Oh, my goodness. That's Jamal Hill. Laid him out. Putting another opponent to sleep.
This knockout occurred in the first round and showcased why Jamal is a scary man to face. The first round wasn't even finished, and Hill had landed a crazy right hand on the forehead of Walker, having him look like a man that drank a bottle of Johnny Walker Double Black. Just look at his crumpled face after the knockout occurred. Jamal thought he still wasn't done and decided to fly in with 2 more hands in an attempt to rip off the Brazilian's jaw. Number 5, Austin Lane. Greg Hardy showed us 2 things in his career. One, that he can throw some cinder blocks for hands, but also that he can get knocked out. Lucky for him, we will show him pausing the knockout. This was brought to us by Greg Hardy when he faced off against Austin Lane on Dana White's Contender Series 9. This strike was about the same effect of letting a train hit your bottom jaw. The fight didn't even last a minute due to Greg winding up his right hand that had Austin's jaw go on vacation in the Bahamas. After his jaw would come back into place,
How did it get
he would
up?
stand up just to get fed another punch with virtually no defending at all.
I think that was like muscle reflex getting
must
back
have been
up.
something
I think
like that.
he was out there.
Yeah, it would have been best off staying down in hindsight. But
Big time.
For a minute, he was just walking down the street minding his business there, wasn't he? Like,
Number 4, Rich Franklin. This punch had Rich Franklin's face look like he's been facing chronic constipation.
Been nursing a foot injury leading up to this fight.
absolute sparko. Wow.
The knockout itself was beautiful just because of how it had Rich's body turn into a dummy filled with jello. It all started and ended in round 1 when Rich dropped his hands and allowed a monster right hand from Lee to land across his chin, having him dropped as well. This finish was pretty crazy to watch, but seeing how fast it landed on Franklin's face and seeing the photos of the effect is even crazier. Number 3, Vitor Belfort. Anderson Silva helped Vitor's foot fetish by throwing his own foot up in his opponent's brain.
Second to none.
Oh. Wow.
Back then, when Anderson wasn't losing a fight to a YouTuber, he was one of the most terrifying mixed martial artists the world has ever seen. Vitor felt this knockout firsthand. Well, felt it first foot, I guess. Vitor's face looked completely empty as his landed, but the constipation face kicked in till he would fall to the ground. 2 more punches from his Brazilian opponent was all it took till Mario Mazzagatti would end the fight. Number 2, Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold conceived, believed, and achieved to look like a kid about to throw up from eating too many brownies.
Much time being spent.
Good night.
He taps. Wow.
This knockout occurred in the second round when the legendary Polish power would land a combo that had Luke in dreamland. This happened after both fighters were clinched up against the cage. After they would break apart, Jan would land a right, then left hand that would drop Rockhold instantly. A few more punches while on the ground was all it took to send Luke back to the 3rd grade. It's one of the gnarliest looks we've seen from a strike. Number 1, Frank Camacho. Jeff Neal Hands of Steel also showed it wasn't just his hands that could make his opponents look like a lifeless dummy.
Right on the button that many times.
Oh my gosh.
Shin to the face.
Wow.
This insane kick came in the second round on his opponent Frank Camacho. The shin landed right on the chin of his opponent, making him look like Popeye the Sailor with one eye open. This had Camacho out almost instantly as his body would go straight Kamaru Usman and flop to the ground with no control. The kick had Frank's mouth go to his own ear. That's how scary the kick actually was. And that right there concludes this video.
Wow.
God, the power.
These guys must be absolutely crazy doing this sport.
I know. He's brutal, isn't it?
Oh, massively, absolutely. I mean, boxing's bad enough, but this has got to
Next
be
level,
worse.
isn't it?
It is the next level. It looks so painful. It really does.
The thing with all of them as well is you might get kicked in the face, kneed in the face, elbowed in the face, hitting the leg, the thigh, wherever, or while you're trying to block that, someone might get hold of your arm and just twist it around the wrong way and snap it.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, what do you do?
And even when they go down, they let them land a couple of punches as well, don't they? A lot of the not all the time. When some of those to
Rich tries to get in,
but some of the time still they let them get a couple more, and it's like, oh man,
brutal. Some proper knockouts there though.
Yeah,
some fast hands. Some of them.
It's the feet,
rapid.
isn't it? Where did the feet come from? And you see that face.
Usually the bottom of the leg.
Well, coming for a long way as well, aren't they? Obviously, fists are there, so it's a bit close, but your foot's right from the ground, and the speed of some of them.
Yeah,
absolutely
super
incredible.
It's the ultimate combat sport.
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Oh, of
absolutely.
course. Yeah, it's just all round. You've got to be able to do everything, haven't you? Really.
Everyone seems to have a different champion all the time in different weights.
Yeah,
they don't seem to have one that sort of like maintains it.
It's not like heavyweight boxing where you have one for like 3, 4, 5 years. It seems like there's like a few, and it changes hands a bit more regular. But you can see why, can't you? Because some of these, it just takes one punch.
Yeah.
I mean, it does in any sport, but boxing, I think you can avoid it a little bit more, can't you?
I think they fight more than boxers. A lot of the top boxers just pick and choose fights every couple of years, don't they?
Yeah, boxing's dead at the moment.
Yeah.
It's not great, is it?
No.
There's a Chinese MMA fighter that's allegedly just got in trouble because he fought, like a kung fu master. I don't think it's kung fu, but it's like one of those sort of Chinese martial arts, and absolutely beat the shit out of him. And the video has gone viral, and basically it's now perceived that he's made China look bad because it's their sort of national martial art.
Right.
And he's like MMA, which maybe that's seen as a Western thing, MMA. And he's had to go into hiding, this MMA fighter.
Wow. Did we react to that?
It's just happened. Like I've seen something today or yesterday about it, so I think it's a pretty new thing.
Right. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that too. Don't forget like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.